You live in London. Does that help your acting, being distance from your place of work? Or sometimes do you wish, no, I should have been there? How does it work?
It helps me, I think, in every possible way at the moment.
Wow.
It helps me. I like the distance from the industry and the place, the place of work, and just come to work. I'm also trying to do other things, so that is helping me. I'm trying to create something of my own. So London is much better for me to sit quietly and work. And
if I can ask, is that in the theatre, in dance, or
no?
what?
I'm trying to write. I'm trying to learn writing, and I would love to make something on my own in the future if it happens. But I'm really enjoying that, and the distance is really good from the industry. I love it. I'm happier.
24th of June, Forensic releases. These two were champions of the indie film movement and they've become mainstream stars. That's what I love about them. Hi Vikrant.
Hi.
Radhika.
Hi, Hrishi K.
I always knew you were a dancer, but that Michael Jackson moonwalk step threw me off. I said, which dance class did you learn this one from? Nice.
Yeah, not bad, right? I don't know how
Full
I
on, yeah.
fared, I don't know.
For a forensic guy to do moonwalk, I mean, I just thought it was well written and well performed.
Thanks. Thank you.
I'm sure with your dancing background, you didn't have to do rehearsals.
Nini, I rehearsed for a week.
You rehearsed
For a week. For a week, and I was so nervous. And by the end of it, I told Vishal, I said, Vishal, isko hatai dete hain yaar. Matlab, I don't want, it's moonwalk and it's my introduction scene. I think I will, it won't land properly. He's like, nahi, karte hain. But now you're saying ki theek hai, to phir I think kuch to theek hi kiya.
Yeah, man. This is like, Michael Jackson did Billie Jean.
Oh, nahi. Itna acha nahi tha. But not bad, yeah. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. That just spoke to me from the trailer. I just saw it.
Yeah, he's a weirdo, this guy. He's got a couple of things which are unconventional. He's got this really huge sleeve of tattoo, he's a Shiv Bhakt.
Wow.
तो शिव जी का टैटू है उसके हाथ पे एंड एक जो परसेप्शन है कन्वेंशनल परसेप्शन कि सरकारी ऑफिसर है तो फिर वैसा ही होगा कि पुलिस ऑफिसर है तो ऐसा ही होगा फोरेंसिक ऑफिसर्स का भी एक परसेप्शन है whereas when I met forensic officers while I was prepping for this film I was completely thrown off guard. My entire perception just fell apart. There are so many young guys with, for example, like I met a consultant who was consulting on the film. She had a tattoo on her arm. We were inspired by that. She had multiple piercings. She was only 26, 27. And she came on a motorcycle.
Sweet.
And I was like, you're a forensic officer? She's like, yeah, I'm a forensic officer. And I'm like, wow. Wow, it's incredible.
Which leads me to my next textbook science question. What is forensics? I mean, you always see in the movies, like Hitchcockian films, guy will come and sprinkle some powder, brush and things like that.
Yeah.
But literally, what is forensics?
Literally, what is forensics? Yeah, all I know, and you really caught me off guard, all I know is it's definitely a branch of science. It's a branch of science which, it's a branch of science which aids investigation, I think. Yeah. In some way. It's not the technical
I don't know. I actually asked you not to ask you. I wanted to know. Like I said, we had a robbery once in our house where he came, he sprinkled, he did this, that. I found it very fascinating.
Yeah.
For a moment, I forgot we had been robbed because I found him very fascinating. But yeah, it's quite cool that you would...
I think it's the science part of investigation, right? Because the other investigation is that I found out that he was unhappy, he and his wife had fight, something like that. That's not science. This is scientific. Like anything to do with pure science with parts, entire science part of the investigation comes under forensics.
The forensics, the fingerprints, the DNA,
everything.
All of that.
Even mud, like this mud, where did this mud come from? Or the shirt had something, or you go to microscopic, what is the material, so it's all just pure science.
Yeah, when I was reading up for this, I found that there are colleges which offer forensics.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can do your masters in it and come out. And that's so cool, that Mumbai police or Scotland Yard would have these guys who have actually studied and come there. So Fantastic. Uh, I saw Vishal's Chori, which had Nusrat Bharucha,
Yeah.
which just spooked the hell out of me. I thought it was a great horror film, you know. So, do you know him from before? Have you worked with him? Or is this the first time? Radhika?
I saw the Marathi film, and then we were
yeah.
supposed to do another film together a while ago.
Bala, no? What was it?
No,
Bala.
there's a-
Lapachapi. His
Lapachapi,
Marathi-
yeah, correct,
the Marathi
correct,
film. Yeah. We were supposed to do a Hindi film together.
Ah.
So we met for that, but the film never panned out. The film didn't happen. So then this happened. Yeah.
And the original Malayalam is actually a cult film.
Yeah.
Because that guy, Tovino Thomas, has become very famous after Minnal Murali.
Yeah. He's a
You know?
superstar. I love him.
Do you ever watch the original or you just say,
I
"No, I
did.
want to do
I
You
did. I've seen it a
Okay,
couple
okay.
of times. The first time I saw it when they pitched the idea that they want to remake it in Hindi, and I saw it again when I was preparing for. I'd said yes to the film. I'd signed on the dotted line, and we were doing the film. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that film, and also because unfortunately, in popular parlance, there's very little available on forensics or their nature of job or what they do, how they contribute in investigations, or how are they aiding the investigative agencies. Of course, yes, we've seen it abroad. We've seen Hollywood films. We've seen foreign films, but in India, we've really not seen the nature of their job or as to what they do or what branch of science forensics is and how crucial these guys are. हमने फिल्मों में देखा है कि पुलिस ऑफिसर आता है और पुलिस ऑफिसर इन्वेस्टिगेट करता है, but they always work in tandem. A forensic agency and the law agencies, the police agencies, they always work together. And she's playing a cop in the film. I'm playing a forensic officer in the film, and so it's you see this for the very first time in Hindi cinema.
I always find lady cops stories to be fascinating because men very seldom go beyond the vardi. I have friends in the police force. I mean, they literally have no life. But I find that lady police officers, no matter how dedicated they are to their job, they, because of being women have to have a life beyond their work, which is what makes you women such superheroes. And I believe she is a mother as well as a cop in this particular film. So did you, let's just go beyond the vardi. I mean, we'll talk about the cop aspect later. But is that dealt with in the film? The fact that she's a mom and things like that? If it's not a spoiler. She's
not a mom.
She's not, okay.
She's an aunt actually, but
Okay.
she's almost like a mother now.
Okay.
To this child. So she and her own mother as well. They live together. She's looking after the child as if her own. And that's sort of related to the story. So I can't reveal more.
Fair enough.
But yeah, she does have a life beyond and duties beyond her professional job.
And it's set in Mussoorie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I always find the hills to be beautiful or eerie, depending on what time of the day
Depending
you are
on
there.
depending on what time and depending on what's being told to you. So Mussoorie mein hum
Murder
jaate hain.
mysteries in the hills.
What better backdrop
I
than
can't wait
that,
to
yeah.
watch this. Yeah.
What
So
better?
tell me how much the landscape has added and how much the landscape is a character in the film.
Of course. In any form of narrative, I think the landscape is a character. It definitely aids in taking the story forward, whether it is an audio-visual medium or whether you're reading something. So Mussoorie, I don't think we could have found a better place and actually a better time also. I think while we
so
were there,
beautiful.
it was almost wintry. It was still wintry. It was still
End of
cold.
monsoon, wasn't it?
It's just started. It's
No, we shot in October, no?
yeah. The winter
End
had
of
just started.
Exactly. End of monsoon. I was
End
saying.
of
Which is the right time to do.
Which is just the right time, So you
Yeah.
have coming back to the question. So the backdrop definitely aids your narrative, and Mussoorie definitely helped that. Those steely grey skies, those foggy evenings. I think for this particular genre, it really aided us.
Did you guys take walks there, or was it just filming, bubble, this, that? I don't know when you shot. Post-COVID.
We didn't have a day off, so there was no
Wow.
time to have walks because the schedule was really hectic. But the
Just
place
go and collapse
was
at the end of the day. Yeah.
probably yes. But the place was just stunning. I think I saw one of the most beautiful sunset of my life there. One day it was extremely cloudy, then to report, and then in the evening suddenly it opened, and the Himalaya, we could see the Himalaya, the range of Himalaya, and it was all pink and purple and orange and whatnot. I don't have a picture obviously because I was like this. I didn't take a picture, but
That means you were in the moment. Most people are not that much in the moments. They whip out their cameras.
Yeah. So I don't have any picture to say that it was really that beautiful, but I couldn't believe it. I have fallen in love with Mussoorie. I couldn't be happier that it was shot in Mussoorie. What a beautiful place. And thank God it's not as polluted as I was expecting it to be. And I don't know the future, but at the moment it's not as polluted as I...
It's definitely better than Shimla. My heart aches when I go to Shimla.
Like, you know what I mean?
You know, so
that was my, beautiful place.
And did you guys do the climb from Dehradun to Mussoorie? You did. I mean,
No, we couldn't do the climb, of course.
No, in the sense that you got off at Doon Airport and then you...
Yeah.
That's also a beautiful drive.
Got stuck once because there was a landslide in the night, so we thought we had to all stay in Dehradun, but then somehow we managed to go up.
And Rohit Roy is in the film.
Yeah.
Not Ronit, but Rohit.
But
he is in the trailer. I mean,
he's very much a part of the film.
I like those two brothers. They have a wonderful contrast.
Yeah.
The elder fellow is serious, the younger fellow is a bit of a style guy. Kind of like the story of my family. But I mean, if it's a spoiler, you don't have to talk about his character.
No,
but then
he's playing a very integral
another
part
experienced actor. I mean, he's been around forever.
And he's done some incredible work all these years. He's playing my older brother in the film. He's one of those very important catalysts who take the story forward. He's playing a very, very important part in the film. And it was a pleasure working with him. You know, I've known him for years now. For television, of course, I was doing TV before, and he's my senior. He's probably my super senior. So he's always been very supportive. He was really kind enough to reach out to me over an SMS saying that, you know what, I'm doing a film with you. I said, which one? He said, Forensic. I'm playing your older brother. And I was like really elated. Yeah, so really excited, yeah.
So, you know, quite to the contrary of what he is like, the moonwalk, the tattoo, this, that. The little bit that I've seen of your character in the trailer, she's on the edge most of the time. You know, she's like, obviously because of the situation she is in. So, your character as opposed to his character, I mean, like you said, the cop and the forensic guy have to work in tandem, but often they are completely polar opposites. So how would you describe what she is like, on the job at least?
I think as a person, I would start from there. She's somebody who's just denied herself even the slightest pleasure or joy of doing it, just smiling. Even.
Wow.
You know, I think she's somebody who just is extremely, whatever has happened in the film, her own life. So she's also not very reasonable in many ways in her own personal life, but very, very reasonable and rational and righteous in her, morally correct in her professional life. So it's quite a bit of a contrast there, and not a very happy person at the point when you meet her. So it's called constantly on the edge, you know, and even in the workforce, being a woman in a small town, not really being treated with utmost respect, but trying to do her work. So quite hard that way. I think, that's, without spoiling anything or giving away, I'm trying to think. That's probably what I could say, yeah.
And what is really spine-chilling, especially for parents of young children, is the fact that there's a serial murderer on the loose with kids being the potential target.
Yeah.
And is your character able to view that rationally as opposed to her being on the edge? Is my question to you.
Kind of tricky. I'll try putting it without giving spoilers away. I think he tries to see things rationally until it reaches his doorstep. And it does at one point in the film. What also I learned with the real forensic experts, we had consultants on set who were guiding us throughout the process of filming.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you know, central government forensic experts. So right from Delhi, we had the best of people available who were helping us, not just with the know-how of just things related to forensics, but a lot of other things. You know, they were involved right throughout the process of filmmaking. What I learned from these guys is that I think it becomes routine for them after a while. in the just a previous interview ago, I said this thing.
It's like a surgeon.
It's like a surgeon.
You know, you do that many surgeries.
Surgeries every day, and if not even a surgeon, a post-mortem surgeon probably, who has a dead body there, who's dealing with, say, probably 4 dead bodies a day. So automatically you don't see it rationally. You treat it as a job, which is the case with this guy. He might seem insensitive to the third person, but actually, if you do the same thing over and over again, it's for the lack of a better example, she's studied economics. She might know the law of diminishing utility.
No, it's very beautifully answered. The morgue and things like that. I know what you're
so it's almost like the law of diminishing utility. You know, the more you do it, the more detached you feel with it, and you don't see it rationally. You just take it as a case. You know, for example, these forensic experts, while they're at it, and really young men and women, boys and girls probably, and they're like, we do it every day. So after 7 p.m. when they are done with work, they go and they have a drink at a bar. It seems unusual, but it's just a regular day at work for these guys, which is the case with this guy too. And Megha's character sees this person as irrational, insensitive, and they do have a conflict because of certain things, this being one of them. And but then things come around, as I said, unless and until it reaches your doorstep, you tend to see things differently.
You know, Javed Saab was telling me about how the quality of his work life and Shabana ji's work life has improved since they have a home outside Bombay. So they come into Bombay, do their work and go. But they're only round the corner. I mean, a few hours drive away. You live in London. Does that help your acting, being distance from your place of work? Or sometimes do you wish, no, I should have been there? How does it work?
It helps me, I think, in every possible way at the moment.
Wow.
It helps me. I like the distance from the industry and the place, the place of work, and just come to work. I'm also trying to do other things. So that is helping me. I'm trying to create something of my own. So London is much better for me to sit quietly and work. And
if I can ask, is that in the theatre, in dance, or
no? I'm
what?
trying to write. I'm trying to learn writing, and I would love to make something on my own in the future if it happens. But I'm really enjoying that, and the distance is really good from the industry. I love it. I'm happier.
I can suddenly picturize Radhika Apte sitting by the Thames and writing.
It's pretty dirty. I mean, Thames is pretty dirty.
It is actually. The thing with, and both of you are such excellent actors. I mean, I have so much respect for your craft and the way you go about your work. It's so effortless. And sometimes, actors look at another actor's body of work and say, wow, I would love to work with this woman or with this guy. What is that project of Radhika's that you saw and say, man, it would be great if we worked together?
I've seen a lot of projects,
And every time you feel that way.
Every time. And also, not a lot of people know this thing. We share the same team. We share the same team. So, indirectly, I've tried to, sort of put this across, saying that, I really want to work with you. And
there's no ego in this, man.
Absolutely not. When you want to work with one of the best around, and, it's like a dream come true. We've been wanting to work together for a while, but finally we managed to do forensic, and I'm glad we did.
Has that happened with you?
Actually, yes, Death in the Gunj, because
oh my God, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I keep going back to Death in the Gunj because that to me is your finest performance. I mean, you've done so many fine ones. You've done the mainstream commercial dancing one also, which you've done a great job with. Sorry, continue. Yeah.
No, it was Death in the Gunj, and we met during
almost
that.
Worked on that.
Yeah, because I read for that also with Coco, the part that Kalki did.
Wow, what a part that is.
Yeah, it was really lovely, and Kalki did it so well. And so I read for it with Vikrant. That's the first time we met, and I remember I had such a great time working with him. It was when you work with such a good actor, when he helps you focus so that you're actually really reacting to each other rather than performing on your own, which most of the actors do. so it's really, I was like, I really want to work with, and then our dear friend Shahrukh, who manages both our work.
Yeah.
So we've been hoping that
Yeah.
there's
That
another
happened
project.
purely by accident, huh? That you have the same team. It's
Yeah.
not
Yes,
so-
yes, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. I've had that team for nearly 3 years now.
Yeah, same.
And
yeah.
when we started working together, and I knew that Shah Rukh was actually managing Radhika, and I told him then only, यार कि उसके साथ कुछ है तो मुझे बता यार, I'd love to work with her.
Yeah. In fact, I just was approached to film. I said, "Hey, Shah Rukh, is Vikrant free?" I actually asked him, "Is he free for the film?" Ask him. I said, "Hey, Vikrant's doing this film exactly this time." I said, "You know what? Then I won't do the film." Like literally, because no, not like just because of that, but I was just saying that it's so easy when you have the same management team. You go like,
Because you're from the theatre, does this backstory thing have to be there for you, going into the backstory of characters? Like some actors tell me it's just instinctive. I don't worry too much about the backstory. How
Yeah.
is it with you?
I mean, I absolutely need it, and I don't mean that you come and you tell me that so this poor girl when she was 4 years old this happened. I'm not expecting you to come and give me some people give you the whole docket of who the person is. I don't expect you to do that. I'll do that work. I'll find my own thing. The problem with most of the writing in our most of the films is that it's so lazy. I'm sorry to say, but it's so
Sure.
lazy. And there's such little work done with characters because actors don't get paid very well. They don't get the time they deserve. Everything is just like, "Ha, ye aisa kar lenge na, we'll work on the set." Happens a lot, and not everybody's capable of working on the set. Working on the set, skeleton, you have to have something which is concrete.
True.
So what happens is there are inconsistencies in the writing, which makes you realize that the person doesn't know who this person is, who the character is. The writer, the director, whoever's written the script doesn't really know who this character is.
Got it.
Because of the inconsistencies, that this person and that person in that scene doesn't feel like it's the same person. So you realize that this person doesn't know who the character is, which is what bothers me. If I have to start seeing the character, I need to know who this person is, and then I will do the homework. I will do my work, I'll sit with it, I'll try and have discussions with you so that I also know exactly how do you want to shape the person. But that's where I find the major problem. That's where I get upset and I feel that you've not done your work and you're asking me to just cry and laugh is not acting.
True.
You know what I mean? So this is where I think I have a problem.
Okay, my time is up. 24th of June. These excellent actors. I can't wait to see them in full glory. Forensic, and it's streaming on Zee5. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you.